So as part of ICPP's 50th anniversary celebrations, it's my pleasure to have with me today Professor Guang Gao from the University of Delaware. He's also joined by two members of his research lab. And Professor Gao needs no introduction to the parallel processing community. He is really very well known. He's been active in this community for over 30 years. He's well recognized for his seminal work on the architecture and compilers for data flow machines. He's published over 300 papers in this area, and he's a fellow of the IEEE and ACM. Welcome, Professor Gao. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today here.
My pleasure.
Okay. So I was, you've been involved in the community, involved with many conferences, ICPP included. I wonder if you can share with us how ICPP influenced your work in this area.
Okay. And I will be my pleasure to say a few words on that. My first ever conference experience when I first came to MIT for my master and PhD degree is actually in a ICPP early meetings in ICPP. And Sid, can you share the screen? So if you look at this ICC proceeding in front of you, it's August 23 to 26. Okay. And in 1983, in northern Michigan, in a city called Traverse City. So that is about my first paper. Can you move on a little bit and see the paper itself? The paper is called Maximum Pipelining of Array Operations on Static Data Flow Machines. And Professor Jack Dennis, MIT, and myself are the co-author of this. So that gives me a great opportunity to look at the field, although it is really the first ICPP conference is 1971, 81, if you correct me. And this is the third conference, it's 83. By the way, if there is my question, in the ICPP 50 events, I understand that there will be a kind of a panel. I read the ICPP 50, the description, the event. And in that panel, the panelists have a person attended the first one or second one ICPP. Or do you know that?
I'm not 100% sure, but we can always find out.
Okay, the one I actually attended for my first, in there, my impression is that this ICPP is a very dynamic event. Have learned a lot in the conference itself. And you feel that you are in a community devoted to parallel processing.
Right.
As you can imagine, there are very few international conferences on parallel processing at that time. In fact, ICPP is probably is one of the first really dedicated on this topic.
Absolutely. And it was devoted to all aspects of parallel processing, whether it is architecture, compilers, software, algorithms, everything that dealt with parallel processing was in that conference.
Correct. Yes. Okay. And then my second event, and Sid, can you show the screen again? Is on the 1988, August 15 to 19. And this one, if you show the paper, this is an optimal parallel Jacobi-like solution method for SVD, the single value decomposition. And this is published in January 1988. So I'm the first author, and there's a graduate student at the time to pursuing PhD study. And this paper is talk about how does the single value decomposition can be parallelized, and what are the algorithms? Yes, the orthogonal decomposition instead of which was later on eigenvalues computation, which is become more and more important later on when the intelligent, artificial intelligence type of machine learning become important. Again, this one we had a lot of feedback. So this is the right conference. A lot of feedback on this one, 1988 event. Can you show the third event? Is 1995. Okay. And can you show the paper, August 14 to 18, 1995? And this one is written by myself at the McGill University, and with Vivek Sakar from IBM Software Solution Laboratory in San Jose, California. And this one is our first important paper for ourselves on how the memory model for parallel processing, when you have a scalable shared address space, which does not need to obey memory coherence rules. So step beyond the memory coherence. So again, this is a important thing for myself. And the event led me to have a lot of interaction with people. People ask a lot of questions, and so on and so forth.
Wonderful. This is
and later on 2000, 1995, on 2000, the feedback we received from the conference published as IEEE transaction paper on PIP on 1980.
That's great. That's great.
So these are the three events I really appreciated the organizers of the early days provide opportunity for publish some of those things which are important to my career experience.
That's great. So you seem to have been involved with ICPP from early days. And I was curious if you'd like to share some of your memories about the conference with me and the audience.
Okay. First of all, the conference give me is you don't feel that you feel a very dynamic, but you have a freedom also to express your view. Mm-hmm. It's not like some conference which are the organizer have a very fixed agenda, and then for a particular discipline, then you have to follow that. Your publications, first of all, you accepted the publications to follow that party line, and your discussions supposed to be follow that party line as well. In this one, the organizer, I realized in early days, they were going to be a multidisciplinary environment. Is going to be open-ended discussion, and so they encourage you free express your ideas. I remember in the first one, I'm a nobody, right? So I went there to talk about this software pipelining, which is a very important topic in compiler.
Right.
It's already well established at that time, the compiler side on the software pipelining. However, in there, when we talk about a very different way to do software pipelining and under the static data flow model, people listens and give me, this is you feel that you are in an environment encouraged to have exchange and with a thriving opportunities, and that I really helped for my early career in my PhD study.
Yeah.
And the result of that talk also influenced my PhD topic, because I was before my PhD, the final PhD, there's 3 years. My PhD at MIT is after 3 years. And that is very important for a graduate student at the time, a new researcher in the field. And there's a lot of feedback for a younger generation of researchers in that field.
Right. Do you remember any particular events or any particular things that happened at ICPP that sort of really made an impression upon you?
Yes, and especially I think each day at the end of the formal meetings,
right,
there were people came together and have some drink, some you have wild discussions, some of the leaders in the field,
right,
at the time, and you feel that you are at home, and the ideas and the discussions or some debate was continue in that sense. I mean, very much relaxed environment.
Right.
Very exciting.
Wonderful.
And the relation I built, the connection I built, that carry a lot of weight for my career.
Right.
And if we have more time, I can just name a few people in that.
By all means, we have time.
Right. So that is a quite important. Give me a very good, very impression. And so it's really the memory can never be forgot. It's a which is true for the other 2 meetings too.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
That is a part of like a social event, right? It's not a formal conference program in the evening when you have this free. However, it is also a combination of formal event, a continuation of the formal event.
Right.
Very relaxed but stimulating environment.
Right.
For people attend.
A lot of mentorship from senior people to junior people.
Right.
It was really
the mentor role is very natural.
Right.
Instead of saying, I'm the boss, and then you become one of them, and then but the mentor role is natural work for me.
That's wonderful. Anything else you'd like to share with us about ICPP?
I think this panel session is very important. There should be under 50 events. There should have a really nice panel session.
Mm-hmm.
Invite people both on the early occurrence,
right,
and as well as in the more recent occurrence,
right,
and open to the entire event. And for example, I will be very happy to speak to just like what I did, and I think that will inspire a lot of discussion. I wish to hear other people. Absolutely. And I think that is a very natural Well, very glad to.
That's an excellent idea. That's an excellent idea. Cool. So thank you so much. I think we'll conclude here unless you have any other closing comments. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me and to share your thoughts on ICPP with the community.